When my sister excluded me from the family vacation, I quietly cut off everything I paid for. For most of my life, I believed family meant loyalty. No matter how tired I was, no matter how busy my job became, I always showed up when my family needed help. Bills, repairs, emergencies, somehow, I always found a way to handle them. But the strange thing about always helping people, is that sometimes they stop seeing it as help. They start seeing it as your responsibility. And that's exactly what happened with my family. My name is Daniel, and for years I had been the quiet backbone of my family. My parents were retired and living comfortably, but a lot of their comfort came from things I paid for. The internet bill, me. The streaming subscriptions, also me. The family phone plan, yep, mine too. Even my sister Emily's car insurance was on my account because she once said she was going through a rough patch. That rough patch lasted 3 years. But I never complained. Not once. I told myself, they're family. Until the day I realized something painful. I wasn't family. I was the wallet. The discovery. It started with a small accident. One evening, I was visiting my parents' house when my mom left her tablet on the kitchen counter. A notification popped up from a family group chat. I normally would have ignored it, but the message preview caught my eye. Emily, I just booked the beach house for July. This trip is going to be amazing. I frowned. Beach house July, what trip? Curious, I tapped the screen. And that's when I saw it. Photos of the ocean. Links to restaurants. Packing lists. My parents, my sister, her husband, their kids, everyone discussing a week-long luxury vacation. Everyone except me. At first I assumed it was a mistake. Maybe they forgot to add me. But as I scrolled further, something made my stomach drop. Emily wrote, "Let's keep this trip small. Daniel works too much anyway." My dad replied with a thumbs up. My mom wrote, "Yes, less stress this way." Less stress. I stood there staring at the screen, feeling something crack inside me. For years, I paid thousands to support them. And when they planned the big family vacation, they decided it would be less stressful without me. The confrontation. Later that night, I asked my mom casually, "Hey, are you guys planning a vacation this summer?" She froze for half a second. Then she forced a smile. "Oh, just a small trip Emily planned. Nothing special." Nothing special. A 7-bedroom beach house wasn't special. I nodded slowly. Sounds fun. That was all I said. But inside my mind, something had already changed. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. Instead, I started thinking about something very simple. If I wasn't important enough to invite, why was I still paying for everything? The quiet decision. That night, I went home and opened my laptop. One by one, I began reviewing every account connected to my family. Phone plan. Internet. Streaming services. Insurance, even the credit card Emily used for emergencies. I stared at the numbers. Every month I spent over $1,400 supporting them. And they couldn't even send me a simple text saying, "Hey, want to come with us?" So I made a quiet decision. I wasn't going to start a fight. I wasn't going to demand respect. I was simply going to stop paying. The changes. Over the next week, I slowly made adjustments. First, I removed my parents' internet plan from my account. Then I canceled the streaming subscriptions. Then I removed Emily's insurance policy. Finally, I separated the phone plan. I didn't send messages. I didn't explain. I just let the systems run their course. If something stopped working, they'd figure it out eventually. Vacation week. 3 weeks later, the vacation finally started. I saw photos online. Emily posting beach sunsets. My parents smiling with cocktails. Captions like, "Family time is the best time." I didn't comment. I didn't react. But 2 days later, my phone rang. It was Emily. The first call. "Daniel, what did you do?" she shouted the moment I answered. "What do you mean?" "Our phones stopped working this morning. Dad can't call anyone." I stayed calm. "Oh." I switched to an individual plan. "You would?" I figured it made more sense. There was silence for a moment. Then she asked the real question. "Why would you do that without telling us?" I paused. Then answered quietly. "The same reason nobody told me about the vacation." She went silent. The domino effect. The next call came from my mom. "Daniel, the internet stopped working at home." "I know." "You cancelled it?" "Yes." "But why?" I took a slow breath. "Because apparently I'm not part of the family plans anymore." She didn't know what to say. Neither did I. But for the first time in years, I felt something strange. Peace. The realization. When they came back from vacation, my parents asked me to visit. The atmosphere felt awkward. My dad cleared his throat. "We didn't realize you felt left out." I looked at them. "For years I helped whenever you needed something. I never asked for anything back." They nodded. "So when you planned the biggest family trip in years, and didn't even mention it?" I shrugged slightly. I figured maybe it was time I stopped acting like part of the family finances too. No anger. No yelling. Just facts. The aftermath. Things changed after that. Emily suddenly found a way to pay her own bills. My parents signed up for their own services. And strangely, they started inviting me to more things. Dinner. Barbecues. Small trips. But by then, I had learned something important. Respect shouldn't come from how much you give. It should come from who you are. The lesson. Family should never treat someone like a backup plan. Or a bank account. Or a silent helper who doesn't deserve appreciation. Sometimes the loudest message you can send, is saying nothing at all. And simply removing the support people took for granted. Because once everything stops, people finally notice who was holding everything together.